Are the Chicago Bulls a franchise forever condemned to wander in the desolate wasteland of mediocrity, perpetually teetering on the precipice of a rebuild without ever truly committing? How much longer can a storied organization, once synonymous with championship glory, cling to the tattered remnants of past ambitions while the league's true contenders race past them, leaving them in a perpetual state of almost? This isn't just a philosophical question for the long-suffering faithful of the Windy City. It's the high-stakes, agonizing dilemma currently confronting their front office as the NBA trade deadline looms large, a silent clock ticking down to a moment of truth. And in this swirling vortex of frustration and desperate hope, a truly audacious, almost sacrilegious, what-if scenario has emerged, one that dares to ask, what if the path to breaking free from this purgatory, to finally igniting a true championship flame, lies in a blockbuster trade for a superstar, a trade so wild it involves sending their newly acquired breakout talent, Josh Giddey, to the Dallas Mavericks in exchange for none other than Anthony Davis? This isn't just about one player. It's about the very identity and future of the Chicago Bulls, a franchise at a critical crossroads, forced to choose between clinging to a fading vision or embracing a bold, uncertain path towards a brighter tomorrow. The Chicago Bulls are, by all accounts, a team in existential crisis. They currently languish in a frustrating 10th place in the Eastern Conference standings, firmly entrenched in what has become known as play-in purgatory. They're not bad enough to fully embrace a rebuild and secure a top draft pick, yet they're clearly not good enough to contend for a championship. This agonizing middle ground has become a source of immense frustration for a fan base that remembers the glory days of Michael Jordan and yearns for a clear, decisive direction. The current roster, a patchwork of veteran talent and promising but unproven youth, has struggled to find consistent chemistry, often looking disjointed and lacking the cohesive identity necessary to compete at the highest level. The pressure on General Manager Mark Eversley and Executive Vice President Arturas Karnisovas is immense, as every decision they make from this point forward will be scrutinized under the harsh light of past disappointments and future aspirations. The question isn't just about winning games. It's about defining the very soul of the franchise, about charting a course that leads somewhere other than the same old, frustrating destination. Adding a fascinating and frankly bewildering wrinkle to this already convoluted narrative is the unexpected emergence of Josh Giddey. Acquired from the Oklahoma City Thunder in the blockbuster Luka Doncic trade, Giddey's start to the season in Chicago has been nothing short of a revelation. He's not just playing well, he's having a legitimate breakout, averaging an eye-popping 20.5 points, 8.2 rebounds, and 6.8 assists per game, all while shooting an incredibly efficient 48% from the field, 42% from three-point range, and 88% from the free throw line. These aren't just good numbers. These are star-level statistics, showcasing a player who has seemingly unlocked a new level of his game. At just 23 years old and signed to a long-term contract, Giddey's value has skyrocketed, transforming him from a promising young talent into a legitimate high-upside trade asset. However, the Bulls' backcourt situation remains complex. With Kobe White expected to return to form, the fit between Giddey and White, two-ball dominant guards, could become problematic, potentially leading to a dip in Giddey's impressive numbers. This creates a unique tension. Giddey is playing too well to ignore, yet his long-term fit with the current roster is still a question mark, making him an intriguing, albeit complicated trade chip. Meanwhile, in Dallas, the Anthony Davis experiment has been, to put it mildly, a mixed bag. While Davis, when healthy, remains one of the most dominant two-way players in the league, capable of single-handedly altering the course of a game with his defensive prowess and offensive versatility, his tenure with the Mavericks has been marred by inconsistency and, crucially, the recent firing of general manager Nico Harrison. Harrison's dismissal, a direct consequence of the Mavericks' horrific start to the season, and the undeniable lopsidedness of the Doncic Davis trade, suggests a front office in turmoil, potentially desperate for a new direction. Furthermore, the Mavericks boast an 18-year-old phenom in Cooper Flagg, a generational talent who is expected to be the cornerstone of their future. With Flagg as their centerpiece, the Mavericks might be more inclined to prioritize longer-term assets and future flexibility over a veteran superstar like Davis, especially if they believe they can acquire young players with experience who can grow alongside Flagg. This creates a tantalizing, albeit speculative, window of opportunity for a team like the Bulls. And this, my friends, brings us to the truly audacious proposal: the Chicago Bulls trading Josh Giddey for Anthony Davis. This isn't just a trade, it's a philosophical earthquake, a potential paradigm shift for the Bulls. From Chicago's perspective, this move solves multiple problems in a Davis trade. First, you don't need to worry about the playing style fit. Davis is a versatile big man who can thrive in various offensive schemes. The Bulls already have multiple guards, including a potentially re-signed Kobe White, who can play a new, more effective pick-and-roll style with Davis as the primary roll man or pop threat. Giddey's long-term contract, as opposed to White's expiring deal, could allow the Bulls to keep and re-sign White, securing their backcourt for the future. Crucially, Giddey's age, 23, and breakout performance could significantly lessen the draft compensation Dallas would demand, making the overall package more palatable for Chicago. Financially, if Giddey, who makes double what White does, is the centerpiece, the Bulls would need to add approximately $19 million in outgoing salary to match Davis's contract. This is where the strategic chess match truly begins. There are numerous negotiable ways to get there. Perhaps the Mavericks would be interested in Patrick Williams, though his long-term contract might be a sticking point. A more likely scenario could involve the expiring contract of Zach Collins, or even the inclusion of a promising young player like Noah Essing instead of a draft pick, with Buzelis wisely considered off-limits. The Bulls could even expand the deal, taking on more multi-year salary veterans from the Mavericks, with or without lowering their 2025 to 26 payroll and possible tax implications, depending on their long-term financial strategy. The on-court impact for the Bulls could be transformative. A post-Davis trade team, if Davis plays and stays healthy, could genuinely contend in the Eastern Conference. When Davis has been on the court over the last couple of years, he's been nothing short of spectacular. Imagine a front court featuring Davis and Nikola Vucevic, with Davis playing power forward and Vucevic theoretically spacing the floor with his shooting. This setup would demand a lot from Davis defensively, but it would instantly establish a new, formidable defensive identity for the Bulls, anchored by one of the league's premier rim protectors. While the team would still be thin at the wing, could be incredibly interesting as a sixth man, and would undoubtedly get plenty of starts to cover for Davis's expected, but hopefully short-term injuries. What's truly appealing about this audacious idea is the future flexibility it could afford the Bulls. They would retain a lot of movable salary and future picks, allowing them to pursue another star down the line, or, more realistically for the Bulls, trade for better-fitting role players. And if, by some cruel twist of fate, it all implodes, if Davis struggles with injuries or the team fails to gel, the Bulls would still have Buzelis, their future picks, and perhaps most satisfyingly for the frustrated fan base, Arturas Karnisovas would likely get fired for following blogger advice. It's a high-risk, high-reward proposition, but one that offers a tantalizing glimpse of a future beyond their current state of competitive stagnation. The Chicago Bulls stand at a critical juncture, a moment of truth that will define their trajectory for years to come. The decision regarding their future is not merely a transaction. It's a philosophical statement, a declaration of intent that will either reaffirm their current path or signal a dramatic, long-awaited pivot. The proposed trade for Anthony Davis, centered around the surprising value of Josh Giddey, offers a clear, compelling path towards retooling with elite, two-way talent, injecting new life and a clearer identity into the franchise. The tension between maintaining a veteran presence and embracing a future-oriented rebuild is palpable, and the Bulls must choose their path decisively. The time for indecision is over. The time for action is now. So, Bulls Nation, what's your take on this high-stakes, audacious dilemma? Do you believe the proposed trade for Anthony Davis, centered around Josh Giddey, is the bold, necessary move to finally set the Bulls on a clear path towards contention, or is it too risky a gamble for a franchise that needs stability? Share your passionate arguments, your strategic insights, and your bold predictions in the comments below. Let's dissect this monumental decision together. And if you're as captivated by the drama and strategic brilliance of the NBA, As we are, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for all the latest breaking news and in-depth analysis. Given the Mavericks' potential, desperation, and the presence of Cooper Flagg, do you think they would genuinely consider a package centered around Josh Giddey for Anthony Davis, or would they demand more established assets?